Welcome to the 44 Cup in Nanny Cay, the British Virgin Islands. It's February 2025 and this is the first regatta of the season for the 44s. There are 9 boats on the start line here, the biggest fleet we've had in a while, and it's a super exciting start to the season because it is the BVIs and it is windy. Let's get straight into the action. It's race 1 and it's really breezy. There are boats down at the pin end of the start line really trying to get off the line. A good start from the middle though from abated and Team Aqua, and they look like they've got the lead power of the fleet. But both of those boats are over early. That means that Peninsula and Aleph at this end have got some flexibility and some space on the race course. The first 2 boats in the first race, abated and Aqua, have had to round back. As that happens, the rest of the fleet are charging off upwind in starboard tack mostly in towards the shore. That looks like that's been a good option. At the top mark here, it's the boat from Monaco, Team Charisma, that's rounding in first. From then Team Nick coming in second. Spinnaker's setting and the turbo down out of the wimmer mark. Team Artemis coming around in third. The crew member leaning out hard to try and get as much righting moment as they can. Torbjorn Tornquist there, the helm, turning the boat down, trying to get the boat back under the rig to make sure it doesn't trip over any of these big waves. And as the rest of the fleet comes round, the boats that had to go back at the start are still going quite well. Team Aqua there and Team Seraph have actually, just coming around here, have actually got back into it a little bit. And then they're in 6th and 7th. After a pretty tough going back at the start. And there's a rip in the spinnaker already. Oh, disaster from the young Swedish boat. That they've already put a spinnaker in pieces. That's such a shame. With the Spanish then trying to keep sailing, there's a real issue here between the 2 boats. Is that mainsail going to touch the spinnaker? What a shame for the Swedish boat. So as they're coming down here, they're just having to windward boat and still keep clear. That's dropping them back in the pack. So as we look down the race course now, the massive high hills of Tortola and the British Virgin Islands to our right hand side, down to our left in the far distance is the US Virgin Islands, and looking to the left, the boat on the far left of the picture lane seems to be in a huge big gust here, just dropping their spinnaker as they come into this first leeward mark approach of this regatta in 2025. They've dropped nice and early. The boat second is overlaid though. They're having to drop below the ley line into this leeward gate. So the boat round the leeward mark first is Team Charisma. Team Charisma come in. They've got a sizable lead here coming into this first leeward mark of race number 1. Meanwhile, it's all on for positions 2, 3 and 4. One boat well overlaid, so had to drop really early. 2 more boats in 2 and 3 have had to drop as well, and they're coming in very pressed up. And the boat in 5th now gets a huge big let off, and they're able to come in under a nice careful rounding with the spinnaker down nice and early. Who's coming in second? It's Team Seraph, right? Vader in 3rd, with Team Aqua in 4 and 5, and Team Nika, who overlaid, in 6. Looking back up the race course now, we've got bubbly cumulus popping up everywhere off these headlands, and the dark patches on the water really are the ones where you've got to be a bit careful. You almost maybe don't want to be in quite so much wind. As the fleet goes off upwind, they want to be keeping nice and clear and clean. It's been a nice beat here again for the guys in the lead. The Charisma team, they're going to round first at the top mark for the second time round, but their lead is reduced. They're not in such quite control as before, and there's been some big gains made by the boats coming around in second here, which is Team Aqua. The new boat for Chris Bake and his team starting to pay off in this windy conditions. They are on fire. Super fast upwind in that second upwind there. And coming round in 3rd is going to be Team Sierra Veda. So the boats in 2nd and 3rd were the ones that had to go back at the start. Both those teams doing a fantastic job in this windy conditions here today. The guys on the pumps now desperately trying to get that spinnaker up in the air to do accelerating down the waves. and they get out of the mark. It's really important that the boat is down and flat so that when the wave hits from behind, they can really get charging. Nika around in 4. That's another solid result for them. Or a little bit of windward heel there as they came in. But and the next boat round is Artemis. They're trying to meet nice and safe and cool. The main sheet was out a long way to make it easy to bear the boat away. So as we come down, we've jibed in the right-hand corner looking downwind, and we're on port jibe now, turbo on port coming into the leeward gate and into the finish. Charisma first, then Aqua with their blue logo on their white spinnaker. They're both, and then Team Sierra Veda, the boat further over to the right. All of these 3 boats have got a real big jump on the rest of the fleet, and they're trying to make sure they can keep surfing these big 44-foot race boats down the waves as the swell comes piling down the gap between the islands. Down through the finish, so it's a finish and first for Charisma. Aqua jibing there, and Searef just jibed as well. Aqua jibing for the finish. They're going to come in at a nice solid second, with Searef Veda coming in third. Then it's a bit closer. It's going to be 4 Team Nika, but 5 and 6 between Artemis and the boat with them. Could be anybody's business. It's going to be a nice little jibe here, in for the boat that's coming in 4th. Nice and safe. We just need all the boats just trying to make sure they keep the spinnakers nicely controlled and not running over them even as they come into finish. Oh, there's a boat. The one boat's just got rolled just literally before they come into the finish, and the boat that rolled over is now getting a chance to jibe. There's a jibe happening here. Which of those 2 boats coming across the finish line is going to get the upper hand? It looks like the right hand of the 2, but are they going to wipe out as they come around the committee boat? They're flapping the spinnaker, but they're diving away. They looks to me like they've just nailed it around that boat. But a super tight finish, as is always the case in this fleet. Even down into the last dying seconds of the race, there's still plenty of action to be had and people fighting tooth and nail to get through the line and get a position gain. So we're into race 2. Looks like it's maybe slightly lighter, a bit more cloud coverage over the land. That's mean it's going to be not quite so top end. There's a bunch of boats down at the pin end that are really trying to fight for that left-hand side and into that left-hand side of the line. But again, somebody's over. One boat's going back already, and it's really tight and tough down with a pack of 5 boats right off the pin. Looks like Searef Veda's a boat off the pin with maybe Team Aqua down there. But meanwhile, at the committee boat end, Aleph Racing really looking good. And that's been good for them. They stayed off the line, held into the left-hand side, and they're coming to top mark here in really good shape. They've won the right-hand side of the race course, or certainly holding to the ley line. And then the other 2 boats coming round now are the Swedish boat in second, here just rounding here, Gamera, and Team Sierra Veda. They were both off that end, and Sierra Veda was for sure the boat at the pin. So it's a bit of a mix. It definitely looks good for the left-hand side. Artemis is down there too, and Nika just trying to sneak round the buoy. They've got a bit of a jib flapping, whilst Artemis in full turbo to try and get over the top of them. Nika only just making it, and here we go. Peninsula just coming round as well. They are trying desperately to get that boat to bear away. The mainsail's all the way out the shroud, trying to allow the rudder to work. So looking down the course now, we're with Aleph Racing coming down the big bulbous spinnaker here, pulling this 44-foot yacht rapidly down the big waves. And then the boat in second place, jibing there to be on the same line, coming down into the finish. Both of these boats obviously pretty confident they've got the ley line okay. Meanwhile, further over and back in the fleet, there's a boat who's just jibed and wiped out. It's going to be tricky for them. The guys on Team Aleph Racing, keeping it calm, keeping it cool, doing a good solid drop here, making sure the boat's under control with the spinnaker down super nice and early. Meanwhile, 2 boats in 2 and 3 have got a real coming together here. There's 2 boats, Team Aleph rounding here, but the action is really in positions 2 and 3 as the 2 boats in 2 and 3 are coming into these marks. and it's Team Zero Fader who coming in were on starboard jibe, just dropping now and going to be jibing onto port to round the port hand rounding mark and go off into the right hand side. They jibe. The boat in third place is now jibing here. That's the new team from Sweden, Team Gamera. So big mainsail's got to come in on Team Zero Fader here, and the jibs flapping. All these boats certainly running at least their J2s, if not the J3s at the moment, really trying to reduce the sail area from that smaller upwind, or from the Genoa, the front sail, the head sail. As we come into the bottom for the next few boats, there's some hecticness over on the port rounding mark. One boat's just dropped, it's a bit tight on the ley line. Now they're going to have to come up and create some space to round. That gives a little gain. It's Peninsula's coming in for a rounding here on the starboard rounding boat, following the Team Gamera out to the left-hand side of the racecourse, looking upwind now. And meanwhile, the next couple of boats are coming in and rounding, and all the boats having to be safe and really solid in their approach into this leeward mark. We're coming to the top. It's a really nice, smooth and solid race here from LS. They've extended on the fleet. They're putting themselves in a really nice, good position for the title here at this regatta. They won the last regatta here before Christmas. Their spinnaker's up and it's setting already. Maybe the gain's not quite as big as it was to Team Zero Fader, but that doesn't look too different actually. Zero Fader in 2 here. That's another good solid result from them. If they continue that down to the finish, that'll be a 3 and a 2 for this team coming into the windward mark here. All really busy on the boat. There's plenty of action going on here on board to try and get that spinnaker up. And as we come in, the next boat round is going to be Team Gamera, I think. That's going to be the new team from Sweden coming in third place here. Great result from them after the first race. Unfortunately, a spinnaker breakage. But here we go. Rounding in 4 and 5 are the 2 old hands in this fleet. Team Charisma and Team Nika. Duking it out here, really, really busy, trying to get those boats under control into their new angle on the downwind, sailing deep out of the mark to be able to make it easy for those big white spinnakers to go and get up in the sky as fast as possible. Down the track towards the bottom we are now. We're looking back upwind. We're looking at what we can see of where the wind is and what the fleet's doing. All the boats have headed into the right-hand side looking downwind. That's the left-hand side of this picture. So as we come downwind, boats have kept it simple. They've sailed straight into the right-hand corner to the shore side to jibe once and then try and come in through the finish. Right now, it's Aleph who's sailed a masterclass in this race. That's the first place for them and a great result for their series this week. That puts them in a good position. But coming round and having a nice solid race too is Team Zero Fader. They're going to come across the line here in 2, and that's a nice, good, solid result to build with their first race result of 3rd place. So a great result for them. Nice, cool, calm, good speed. But sailed the side they wanted to and done a good job. As we look further back in the fleet, the boats are a bit more space now. It's not quite so busy as it was into the finish of the last one. Boat in 3. They're going to be pretty good and pretty solid in here. That should be Team Gamera, sorry. They're just jibing into the finish, but they're just further back. The boat in 5 just jibed in front of the boat in 6. But is the boat in 5 going to lay down into the finish? They may have gone a little bit early. The boat in 6 just jibing now. They're for sure coming through the line with no issues. But the boat in 3rd, she's just coming in 4 now, just coming through the line here, coming in and finishing. Oh, that was Team Charisma came in 3rd there. Then the boat just finishing in here. That was the team from Team Gamera, and then 5th was Peninsula, and then the boat crossing line there is Nika. So a big jump forwards for Team Charisma down that downwind. Huge opportunities being made by both Peninsula and Charisma relative Nika and Gamera. So as we come into the start line again, it's the wind's piped up a little bit. Boats at the pin end really close. The starboard end here, It's a good start from the Team Gamera. They're in really good start off the line there. Great time and distance from those guys with Team Charisma just below them, and a really good start from Team Gamera's teammates in Team Artemis in the middle. But unfortunately, a boat's really going back, having to re-round the boat that was right at the pin, done a bit of a over on the course side early. So who's it been on this first upwind? Is it again been about holding towards the left-hand side? It's Team Aqua, Chris Bake and the Team Aqua team. A lovely work there. And then Team Artemis, who started a third of the way down from the starboard end. Both of those boats held out the start line towards the left-hand side, wanting to get the minimum number of boat handling manoeuvres to take the best advantage out of that left side. Team Gamera, who started at the starboard end, they've held and they're obviously sailing nicely in good speed because they've done a great job here up in third. That'd be a good result for them. Who's rounding in 4 here? We got, looks like that could be Team RLS. Looking downwind. The wind's piped up. It's windy again. It's really quite breezy. All the boats sailing slightly more. They're hot. They're sailing hot and really fast here, but they're trying to take the depth down. They're big bands of wind, and you can see from where you can see the white crests on the water, the waves are actually pretty large now if they're breaking that much, and the boats are working really hard to keep surfing. So down at the bottom it says starboard approach into this leeward mark, and it's going to be a starboard rounding potentially for Team Aqua and Chris Bake, unless they want to put a jibe in and go the other way. No, they're holding here. Then the boat in second, really trying to push to make some gains here. And that looks like that's Team Aleph coming down in second. A good third race for them would put them really in the chocolates coming into the end of the day today. So they're coming in, rounding in 2, gained on Aqua. Rounding in 3, who are we going to get rounding in 3? It's a goose wing finish into this bottom mark for the team here on the right hand side, and that looks like that's Team Gamera. They're just rounding there with Team CRF Vader up into 4. Are they going to be 4, or is it going to be Team Nika or Team Charisma? It's 4 from Team CRF Vader. It's 5 from Team Charisma, with I think Peninsula in 6. Oh, it's very close to the top here. There's some big gains for them. Aleph have sailed a real storming leg up here. They've got slight inside overlap in this top mark, and Team Aqua, a windward boat, have to avoid. They are having to avoid. They've got to stay high. Let Aleph control the bear away in the rounding. Can Aleph get that big spinnaker up in the sky quicker than Chris Bake's Team Aqua? It's a real grinders race here. Oh, but there's a slight twist in the spinnaker on Team Aleph. Did they get the spinnaker caught? Aqua already high and the spinnaker's up and pulling. Both boats get the spinnakers pulling at a similar time. 3 and 4, big almost broach there from boat in 3, with boat in 4 with spinnaker still down. CRF Vader in 5, and the boats coming around in 6, 7 and 8, not far off their heels as well. So we're looking down, we're seeing the downwind now. There's groups of boats working hard to fight to get past the next one near to them. There's a good bit of space here from the boat on the farthest left of the picture. That to me looks like that's Team Aleph sailing nicely, have sailed really well to get up potentially into the lead here, but it's going to be close when they come back. Is it Aleph? Yes, it is. It's Aleph. Left of screen as we come into the finish here. It's Aleph who's going to get the race. What a great race, sailing through into first from a Wimmer mark rounding on the first one with a few boats to go. It's then Team Aqua who are coming down with the blue logo on their spinnaker. Are they going to make it into the finish in second, or is the boat just above them going to take their wind and roll over the top of them? It's super close here. Who's it going to be? The dirty wind from the boat above. Are they going to roll in down through the finish? Yes, it looks like they may just well do that. But to me, from here, from the drone footage, it really looks like it was an absolute photo finish, but probably it's going to be the left-hand 2 of those boats. It's probably going to be 2 and 3, and then 4 is Charisma, 5 is Charisma with CRF Vader in 6. Sorry, 4 and 5 is Charisma and CRF Vader. And then the rest of the boats coming down in now. It really is the windy part of the day, and we've done a good job in all the teams. There'll be some really tired arms now at the end of this day. So after a busy, windy day at the 44 Cup in Nanny Cay in the British Virgin Islands, the wind turned up, the conditions were perfect for some windy racing. The teams all fronted up with their game faces on after a day of rest yesterday because it was too windy. And my gosh, wasn't it some sort of racing?
It was a good day, super fun for everyone. I think all the owners and crew enjoyed champagne sailing in the Caribbean. We started pretty well. First top mark we were fourth, then we struggled a little bit in the first hoist and the first downwind. We lost a couple of places, and then we managed to jump Artemis right at the finish. So it was a good warm up. And then we settled in for the second and third race. We had two good starts, played a couple of good shifts going up the beat, and the boat was going really well up and down, so made my life a lot easier. But it was a great first day, long way.
Looking forward to a fantastic day tomorrow.